Today I'm going to be making Stollen. This is a German style bread that's usually served up at Christmas or at holiday periods. This is an enriched dough, so we need a little extra yeast in this to help it rise. Okay, let's get started. In my bowl here I have bread flour and salt, and that's going into my stand mixer. You can do this by hand, but I prefer to use a stand mixer for it because it's really easier for me to do. Now I've already prepared my yeast and I've put this in milk. I've used some of my sugar, just a few teaspoons full, and 3 teaspoons of yeast. I have sugar, which I'm going to pop in. I have butter, which I've put on paper because it's really floppy because my kitchen is really hot at the moment. The next thing going in is 2 teaspoons of mixed spice. There we go. I also have 1 egg going in. There we are. Plus 2 egg yolks. Oh, dropped a lot of it down the side, look at that. She's making a mess and she hasn't even started yet. I have in this bowl 2 teaspoons of vanilla. That's just vanilla essence. You can use vanilla pods, whatever you've got. Now earlier I prepared my fruit and I have almonds, raisins. I chopped a few cherries through it as well. I've also got mixed peel in here and 80 mils of rum. Now all I'm doing is while my bread's rising is I'm going to let that soak. So I'm just going to cover it and put that to one side because we're going to need that later. Okay, what we need to do now is just blend this with the yeast mix. Okay, this is sort of roughly blended. Now what I want to do is just make sure I knock everything back down the sides, just scrape it down. And then, ooh, I'm going to get in a big mess with this today, aren't I? Once you're happy, you've got it all off, we're going to need this for 7 minutes. If you're doing it by hand, you need to knead that for 10 minutes on your worktop. Okay, I've been kneading this. Oh, as you can see, it's quite a wet looking dough at this stage. We need that because with all the stuff we put in there, it will struggle to rise if it's too dry at this stage. So, what we're going to do now is cover this and leave it to double in size. I'll see you when that's done. So, my dough has now doubled in size. The next thing I'm going to do is using a floured hand, I'm going to punch it down. Put a little bit of flour on that. Punch it down. Oh, that feels lovely. There we go. I'm going to make a little well in the centre of that. And now I'm going to add my fruit. Just make sure you haven't got any excess fluid. All of the rum should have been absorbed. If you've got any excess, just tip it off. It's not an issue. In goes my fruit. Honestly, that smells wonderful. So all I've got to do now is mix this together quickly. Oh, there we go, it's mainly in. So, what we're going to do now is take it out onto a floured board, a really well floured board. Okay, well, it's going to be quite wet at the moment, so we're just going to finish kneading this on the board with plenty of flour. It's not a problem using more flour at this stage if it's a little bit too tacky. There we go. And just make sure all that fruit is kneaded through the dough. Now we're going to make a log of a fairly even thickness. There we go. Yeah, that was about right to me. And we're going to cut this in half. Put one piece to one side. Make sure it's on a properly floured area because I don't want that sticking. Oh, put some of the, look at the state of my hand. I may need to go and wash this in a minute. Now what we're going to do is roll this into quite a large oval, and it needs to be about ½ an inch of thickness. Now I'm going to use my heavy roller for this because I think it will do the job fine. So we're going for a sort of oval shape. Oh, that's not too shabby, is it? About ½ an inch thick. There we go. Not bad. I think it's still looking a bit thick there. There we go. Go as far as you need to go to get it to that sort of ½ inch thick. Okay, once we got it to there, I'm going to take some marzipan. Now, this is my own homemade marzipan. You can buy it, and I've got videos to show you how to make this. I've got to tell you, it's a lot cheaper to make it yourself. Now, I'm going to cut my marzipan in half. I need to make a sausage to fit down the centre of this bread. Here we go. I'm going to put it this way. It'll be about an inch thick, I would have thought, when I'm done. I'm trying to do this so you can see where I'm going. Right, so we want it the whole length of the bread we've just rolled out. That'll do it. Now I'm just going to roll it to the centre of the bread. Then I'm going to bring the left side over, like this, over the top of the marzipan. There we go. Then I'm going to bring the right side, but only halfway. Only halfway across, like this. Just make sure you've got it covered, and fill in the bottom edges like that. Just make sure you've got that covered. There we go. And push it in. Yeah, nice. Pinch that bit together. Now all we're going to do is poke our hand down like this, so that we get that nice Stollen shape to the bread. And then I'm going to just make it a nice little shape there. So we've got a divot alongside our marzipan there. Now what we're going to do is transfer this, hopefully, onto a really well oiled pan with greaseproof paper. Now this should be fun. Let's get it on. Oh, just about. And now we're going to do the second one. So, same thing. Our dough, and we need to roll it into an oval and about 1/2 inch thick. There we go. That's probably it, isn't it? There we go. Nice sort of ovally shaped. Brilliant. Again, marzipan as second part of the marzipan, and we're going to make it into a sausage. Down there. Yeah, that's nice. There we go. And we're going to bring the left side over the top of our Stollen marzipan. Left side over the top of the marzipan like that. This only goes halfway across. There we are. When you're hand making these things, two never look the same, do they? Oh look, got a raisin come out. I'm going to poke that in. Right, we're going to transfer this one now onto the paper. And we can always give it a bit of a reshape if we need to. Now, I'm going to remember to do my divot, because I nearly forgot that, didn't I? And there we go. There's my 2 Stollen from that recipe. All I need to do now is leave it for an hour, somewhere warm, so that it puffs up just a little bit. There we go. It's just reshaping little bits here. Yeah. Just do that until you're happy with it. There. I'm quite happy with that. I'll take that one off because it will burn. And there we go. Just cover it with some oiled greaseproof paper. Leave it for an hour just to puff up a tad. I'll see you when that's ready. Well, my Stollen has just started to go puffy, as you can see. Now I'm going to put this in the oven on 180 degrees. I'll put the other temperatures up. And I'm going to cook these for 30 to 35 minutes until they're golden brown. Once they're golden brown, bring them out. I'll see you when these are cooked. Well, my Stollen are cooked, and I've got to tell you, they've grown so much. They are the biggest Stollen known to man. So, we're going to continue. If you've got any burnt currants, just pick them off, because there's enough fruit in here not to worry too much. Right, I'll take that one off as well, and that one. There we go. Now, what I'm going to do is poke holes all over these two, because I'm then going to coat them in butter, which I've melted. So, let's go. Oh, any bits of fruit that come off on your thing. I'm using my food hand mixer Uji, because I very rarely use the food mixer, and these make holes that are just about the perfect size. Right, I'm going to absolutely be generous and cover this now with melted butter. I've left it literally out of the oven 5 minutes before I put the holes in. Here we go. This bit's quite important because we're going to icing sugar them and we want it to stick, and this just gives it such a wonderful flavour. Make sure it's going down those holes as well. Right, don't be scared to do this at all. Just whack it on, it's wonderful. We could maybe cut these into 4 smaller ones, or half the recipe if you want to, if you want to make smaller ones. I like to do this and gift some, because I can tell you my sons love this. for the holidays, and I quite often make or get little ones and put in their stockings, and they absolutely love it, and they'll eat that for their breakfast Christmas morning. Wonderful. What I want to do is transfer them onto my wire rack, so I'm just going to lift that paper up. And don't forget, they're hot. They're still hot. There we go. There's one. Oh, yes, hot. Bring it down. I'm just going to pull the paper to do this because they really are quite hot. These are like giant hot cross buns at the moment, but they won't be. Right, I'm going to get rid of my paper out of my tray. Then I'm going to put my rack onto my board. Ooh. And my, there we go. Wipe my hands because they're absolutely smothered in butter. Now here I have icing sugar, and I'm going to absolutely smother these in icing sugar. That's why I've put them on a tray at the moment. There we go, straight over all that butter. Give them a really good coating. Then we're going to make sure we've rubbed that all over. We want it everywhere. Rub it in. Don't worry about a few of the raisins and things falling off. That doesn't matter. We don't mind that at all. Give it a jolly good rubbing. There we go. Bit more, and we're going to rub it again. I suppose you need about 500 grams of icing sugar for this. Make sure you get round the sides as well. Now you can see why I've put this over a pan. Some more there, because I don't think I've covered that. Look at this. Now this is my kind of job because I can make loads of mess and it's warranted, isn't it? Right, we're going to now leave these to go completely cold, and if need be, we're going to give them one last coat of icing sugar. But they're looking great. I'm really pleased with these so far. I'll see you when these are cold. Well, my Stollen and very nearly cooled down, so I'm just going to give them one last dredge of icing sugar where it looks like it might need it, because the butter soaked some of this up. And look at those. Now, don't they just look wonderful? Absolutely beautiful. I am so pleased with these. Nothing more to do than to taste one. So here we go. They're still slightly warm, but that's fine. Because traditionally, you would do that. You would eat them a little bit warm. Here we go. Not got the best knife for this job, but how does that... Oh, look! I'm going to turn this round so we can see that on the side camera. Look, that marzipan is there. My divot is actually still there, isn't it? This marzipan, oh, and look how beautiful is that. I can't wait to taste this, actually. I really can't. And my sons are going to be so pleased, because what I'll do is cut those in half and dish them out to everybody. Now, I think next time I make these, I'll probably, if my kitchen's this hot, I mean, it is ridiculously hot in my kitchen. In the winter, it may not rise this much. And I have made this before, and it's not got quite as big as this. but I think I might make 4. I was going to cut that, but I don't want to because I want to taste it with everything. I might cut the dough into 4 and make 4 smaller ones because you can freeze these. They freeze beautifully. You can also leave them for 2 weeks before you even touch them because they will mature, and all the rum and flavourings that we've put into this will go all the way through beautifully. So they do actually get better with a little bit of age. Oh my. Oh my goodness me. Oh, well, I really can't see these lasting for very long. That is delicious. Yay. Oh my goodness, that tastes like Christmas. Totally tastes like Christmas. I am so chuffed to pieces with these, and I really hope you have a go. Lovely, lovely. It's cheaper than buying these. Licking my fingers. Absolutely delicious, she says, wiping it down herself. What can I say? That is beautiful. Now, this recipe is not in my new book. However, my book is available on Amazon, on all platforms, if you did want a copy. I've also issued a black and white version, which is much cheaper. I don't actually set the prices on these. Amazon have set the prices on my book. But the black and white version comes in at around €18, which is a lot cheaper. I think it's because I've self-published, and you get penalised a little bit for that. Anyway, please, please, have a go at this. This is wonderful. If you liked what you saw today, please like, share and subscribe to see me making more delicious, affordable food. Thank you for watching.